Not everyone who you give money have good attention for it. In the dusty heart of a small African town, where the red earth met the white sky, there lived a man named Mallory. To the eyes of strangers, he was nothing but a beggar, a man who stood on the street corner near the bustling market, shaking an old calabash bowl and asking for spare coins. His clothes were torn, his face carried the weary lines of hardship, and his voice always sounded desperate. But Mallory was no ordinary beggar. Behind the ragged appearance hid a secret darker than the night itself. He was a thief of destinies. It was said that once, long ago, Mallory had been taught forbidden charms by a wandering sorcerer who had no family and no roots. The sorcerer had told him, men chase after money, land, and cattle, but what truly makes them flourish is their destiny. Take a man's destiny, and you take his future, his wealth, his joy. Mallory had listened, and in the quiet of the night, he learned the chants, the powders, the oils, and the charms that bound fate. When people dropped coins into his bowl, he sometimes whispered words under his breath, catching the fire of their stars and drawing it into himself. And so Mallory lived. Every time someone gave him a coin, he tested their spirit. If they had a bright and wealthy destiny, he trapped it and stole it, feeding his own life with their blessings. Though he wore rags, in the secret parts of his life he had land, cattle, and influence that no one could explain. One blazing afternoon, the market was alive with traders shouting, women bargaining, and children running between stalls. Mallory stood as always on the street corner, bowl in hand, muttering his quiet chants. That was when a young woman passed by, her baby strapped to her back with a faded cloth. Her name was Tandika. Though her clothes were simple, her eyes carried a brightness, and her laughter as she bargained with a yam seller was like music. Unknown to her, her destiny was great. She was meant to become a wealthy businesswoman, to build a home where her child would never lack, and to bless others with her fortune. When she saw Mallory, pity stirred in her. She dug into her small purse, pulled out 2 coins, and dropped them into his calabash. "May God bless you, old man," she said with kindness. But Mallory's eyes gleamed. The moment the coins touched the bottom of the bowl, he whispered his charm, hidden beneath a cough. A shadow flickered over Tandika's spirit. In that instant, it took her destiny. Tandika did not feel it immediately, but days turned into months, and life grew harder. Where she once found opportunities, doors closed. Where she once sold her goods at profit, her stock spoiled. The little money she had vanished, and soon she could not pay rent. Hunger became her companion. Her child grew thin, his ribs showing, his cries piercing the night. The woman who was meant to be wealthy, who was meant to rise above poverty, sank deeper into misery. She wondered if she had been cursed. And Mallory. His hidden wealth grew. New cattle filled his craw, gold and notes lined his hidden chest, and yet he still stood on the street, still begging, still stealing. Years passed. Tandika's child, a boy named Saifo, grew into a sharp but bitter child. He saw his mother's struggle, her endless labor, and yet nothing prospered. Sometimes, at night, she sat outside their small hut and cried, whispering, "What wrong have I done to deserve this?" But destiny is a thread, and no matter how tightly it is tied, it sometimes finds a way to untangle. One day, Mallory grew ill. His bones ached, his skin itched, and nightmares haunted him. In his dreams, he saw a woman's face, the same young woman who had once blessed him with coins. In the dream, she was crying, holding a child, accusing him, "You stole my light. You stole what was mine." Mallory could not sleep. He visited traditional healers, but their medicines failed. Finally, he went to a powerful diviner, an old woman with blind eyes who saw with her spirit. "You are haunted," she told him. "The destinies you have stolen are crying out. One especially clings to you, for it belongs to your own blood." Mallory trembled. "My own blood?" "Yes," the diviner said. The woman whose destiny you stole, she is your family. Mallory's heart pounded as he set out to find her. For days, he searched through the town until he found Tandika, bent over a basket of half-rotten oranges she was trying to sell. Her clothes were worn, her cheeks hollow, her son standing nearby, his eyes filled with hunger. Mallory's chest tightened. He looked at her closely, and in her face he saw the features of his late sister. Memory stirred, how his sister had died giving birth, how her child had been taken by distant relatives. The child had grown up, and this must be her. He staggered back. The woman whose destiny he had stolen was his own niece, and the boy was his grandnephew. For days he wrestled with guilt, but his illness worsened, and the diviner's words echoed, "Restore what you have taken, or perish." Finally, Mallory approached Tandika. Together they went to the diviner. The ritual was long and dangerous. At night, under the moon, they drew a circle with white chalk, lit fires of sacred herbs, and poured libations for the ancestors. The diviner slaughtered a black chicken, its blood mixing with ash. She chanted, calling the spirit of destiny, calling the river of fate to flow backward. Mallory trembled as shadows rose, each representing the destinies he had stolen. They circled him, crying, clawing, demanding release. The diviner struck the ground with her staff. "Return what is not yours." Mallory fell to the ground, writhing as though flames burned inside him. One by one, the shadows left his body, streaming into the night. Finally, the brightest of them all flew straight into Tandika's chest. She gasped, feeling warmth, strength, and light flood her again. The ritual ended. Mallory lay weak, but alive. Tandika stood tall, her eyes shining for the first time in years. In the days that followed, Tandika's life changed. Opportunities opened as if doors long locked had swung wide. Her business flourished, she bought better clothes, better food, and her child laughed again, his belly full. Her destiny had returned. And what of Mallory? He was broken, frail, his hidden wealth gone, for what is wealth without destiny? The cattle died, the gold turned to dust, his hidden chest lay empty. He had nothing, not even a hut to call his own. One evening, as he sat under a tree, coughing and weary, Tandika approached him. "You wronged me," she said softly. "You made me suffer. But you are also my blood. And my child cannot grow hating his own kin." She extended her hand. "Come. You will live with us. Not as a beggar of destinies, but as a man who has learned his lesson." Mallory wept. In her forgiveness he found a peace he had never known.